The most complex and contentious factor when looking at the effect of the Syrian crisis on the Lebanese economy is the entry of tens of thousands of Syrians into the labor market, which correlates with rising unemployment in Lebanon and general dissatisfaction amongst Lebanese workers and citizens. In a report issued in 2015, the International Labour Organization has said that competition over jobs is an urgent challenge facing host communities because of the increase in labor supply. Syrian refugees are employed in predominantly low-skilled jobs in construction and agriculture, with smaller numbers in hospitality, manufacturing, cleaning, and maintenance. They generally accept lower incomes and work longer hours with no social benefits and decreased wages. As mentioned before, most Syrian refugees live and work in historically marginalized regions such as North Lebanon and the Bekaa Valley. By the end of 2014, the World Bank reported that approximately 170,000 additional Lebanese had been driven into poverty and that the unemployment rate had doubled to over 20% in comparison with 2011. Cheap Syrian labor existed before the crisis, with approximately 500,000 to 1 million workers employed in the sectors mentioned above. Bilateral agreements between Lebanon and Syria in the early 1990s allowed the free movement of labor between the two countries, opening the door to underpaid Syrian workers to rebuild Lebanon after the civil war. It also allowed the Syrian regime to escape its unemployment problem. Syrians, more so now, are deeply vulnerable to labor exploitation. 88% are paid 40% less than the Lebanese minimum wage, which is already unsustainable for Lebanese citizens. The World Bank has noted that it is unclear to what extent low-skilled refugees have been competing with Lebanese nationals, since prior to the crisis, the low-skilled labor market was in general dominated by migrant workers. It is quite likely that poorly qualified labor, which included Syrians before 2011, has suffered from increased competition from Syrian refugees after 2011. In any case, the influx of Syrian refugees has driven down wages for both Lebanese and foreign low-skilled workers, worsening the pre-existing poor working conditions in the unregulated informal markets. It has also been difficult to find actual statistics that approximate the number of Lebanese who became unemployed because their job was given to a Syrian or were fired and replaced by a Syrian. Lebanon has no established labor market information system, and no official labor market needs analysis have been carried out since 2004. Without this data, it is hard to realistically determine to what extent unemployment has been caused by the entrance of Syrian workers into the labor market, and to what extent it can be attributed to other economic factors such as the disruption of trade routes and low investments. Another challenge is to measure to what extent Syrians have taken jobs from Lebanese in the informal sector, an essential sector in the Lebanese economy, which is difficult to quantify. Syrian refugees also cannot be blamed for the inability of consecutive Lebanese governments to promote job growth. A World Bank study estimated in April 2013 that even without the influx of refugees, the Lebanese economy would need to create 23,000 jobs per year to absorb new job seekers and spur growth, as opposed to the roughly 3,400 it creates now. The economy creates most jobs in low productivity sectors, which employ low-skilled workers. High-skilled workers tend to leave Lebanon to search for jobs, as there is an oversupply of educated Lebanese and the lack of jobs. It is clear that Lebanon needs to move towards higher quality sectors to absorb its flow of highly skilled new graduates. Ritaun 961